And then we're gonna put him on. I got some questions for him on how to learn from him and his scripts. So I haven't really scripted with him a ton and I wanna learn his stuff. Questions, comments? Wanna go first or you wanna go second?
Oh, either, I'm good.
I think you just signed up for first.
I know every objection that, no.
Alright, so Casper's gonna role play with you. Which one will we start with, Casper?
All right, we will start with. We'll list, but only if you lower your commission. We're just going straight. So, David, we like what you have to say, we'll list, but only if you lower your commission a bit.
Oh, I totally understand, Casper, and that's a pretty fair question. A lot of agents right now are offering to discount their commission, and it's a bit of a hard market for agents, and that concerns me a bit. Can I tell you why?
Sure.
So is this home the most valuable asset that you own?
It is, yeah.
Okay, and from a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate yourself as a negotiator?
Well, I'd like to say like a 9.
Okay, so pretty good, that's wonderful. So then you understand the importance of negotiation, right?
Right.
So would you really want to hire a professional negotiator for the biggest sale of your life, who can be out negotiated by you?
Well, I'm a pretty good negotiator. If they can match me a bit, then I'd be pretty satisfied.
Oh, so that's what I'm saying though, if they can't even negotiate their own commission, you really want them negotiating the sale of the biggest asset you own?
Like, yes, I see your point. Just wanna, well, want to net the most amount of money, like, I don't know how much any agent can negotiate, I guess, the best deal, right?
Oh, absolutely. So the thing that you have to understand, Casper, is that there are 2 types of agents. The first, they're gonna tell you to accept the first offer that you get because they're in fear of losing their own commission. And realistically, if they're going to not be able to negotiate their own commission, how are they actually gonna show up for you? Something that they care way less about. Now, the second, and this is the group that I fit into, is going to go back and forth, fighting tooth and nail, to make sure that you get every dollar that you deserve. So out of those 2 groups, which type do you want to work
The better group, the tooth and nail.
with? I completely agree. So let's get you signed up and get you every penny you deserve.
Thank you.
Short and sweet, I love it.
Was that short? It felt like long. I was sweating.
Sometimes commission negotiations at the table can like last 30 minutes.
Not with me. What do you do? No.
Not well.
All right,
All
Mr.
right.
Mike. Thank you for your time.
Yeah,
Well,
you're welcome, thank you.
yeah, we're ready to list,
Okay,
but
amazing. Ready for that as well, thank you.
however, wait. But only if you lower your commission.
Okay, is this a test?
Well, what do you mean?
Well, I'm just curious, like, I just wanna know, is this a test right now? Are you putting me in a test?
Oh, I just wanna get some money, you know?
Is it safe to say that when you guys go to hire somebody for the sale of your house, that you wanna hire an expert negotiator?
Yeah, obviously.
So why would anyone hire somebody who in this moment is gonna be giving up some of their own hard-earned pay? Right in front of you to your face, wouldn't it make sense to work with an agent who is a strong negotiator in that sense?
It would, but I don't know how much you can actually negotiate, right? It's like if you cut your commission, I'm getting like a sure thing. You know what I mean?
Well, I 100%, well, if you're hiring somebody who's gonna cut their commission, you are getting a sure thing, you're surely getting somebody who's gonna give up negotiating. If they're gonna negotiate for themselves in the room right now so easily, what's gonna happen when you're not there behind closed doors and they're negotiating on your biggest asset?
Okay, see what you mean.
So would it make sense to hire a strong negotiator, somebody who's gonna net you 2, 3, 4% more than the other person, so you don't end up saving 0.5% but losing 2%?
Right,
It's just simple math, right?
I hear
Amazing, sign it.
you.
So pretty much the same kind of.
Yeah, the pattern's there.
Nice.
Well, we gotta vote, let's go. Get the paddles going here.
I like the way that Mike did it, like it's the same, it's polished, it's probably the way that I would wanna come off.
Nice.
Alright, fair enough, well, that's, we'll get you on the next round.
Just curious, for you, did they feel different? Like not better or worse, but did they feel the same or did?
I think Mike's smaller. Well, I know this from
Yeah.
knowing both, it's like, yeah,
Yeah.
David's more gentle, Mike's more to the punch.
Fair.
So that test question was,
Yeah.
that throws you off, right?
Yeah.
Can I have a question?
Yes, please, this is a group conversation as well, yeah.
We just had a situation recently, like a week ago, the seller, investor, he has many properties on the market. And this property that he wanna sell with us, he has partners. And they said that they're, everybody wants to go with 0.5% commission. I was like, no, I can't, because this.
Sorry, they wanted you guys to take 0.5% commission?
no, they wanted, us to just charge 0.5.
For what, like both sides?
No.
For our side.
Okay.
So we said no, of course, we used some like arguments and everything, like why not going at all. But we lost the listing because they decided to tell the agent they would do like 0.5 on their side. But on the situation.
Do you wanna take this
Let
one?
go or,
Depends what it is.
Like that question, instead of like, would you lower your commission?
zero.
If they're asking like, would you do it for 0.5, because we're investors, I have a bunch of partners, and they have a few agents that would do that, and obviously there's so many agents that would do it for this much. Would you be able to do that for us?
I mean, for 0.5, I would, am I in the?
So
room with them, or-
3, let's say 3%, let's say a total of 3%.
Am I in the room with them or is this
Yeah.
a phone call?
In this situation, it's a phone call.
I mean, so I'd always rather be in the room because they can't hang up on you and you can grab me. But maybe I'll work this backwards. At a certain point, it's not worth it. It depends what's involved too, like, are you staging? Because, I mean, you can't afford anything at 0.5%, right? So there's always like, there's the Keller Williams one about the buckets for commission, like the brokerage, the marketing, and then, oh yeah, taxes too. And your pay and then the government takes half.
Yeah.
But truthfully, like I had this like before I was in real estate. We bought a place in Cambridge and we moved 9 months later and sold it. And so we asked our agent, will you do it for 2% on your side? I didn't even realize you asked for 0.5. And the he just flat out took it out of the marketing budget, like the marketing sucked, it was really bad. So I like to use that as an example and just say, you know, is your goal to save money or is your goal to make the most money? There's a line that I really like, which is, you know, do millionaires get rich by saving money or by investing? Right, so we just kind of take it from there.
I like that.
I shouldn't have shared.
I think there's a business question and then there's a scripting question there. There's a business question, so on the business question, it's like, does it make sense to take a listing at 0.5%? Are you gonna get more deals out of it? Are you creating a business channel? Like if you've ever taken a low commission listing, then you end up with another low commission listing that ends up with another low commission listing, and then you're just working for low commission. So that's like a business concept that I don't really love. If there's like a reason because, okay, you have the hottest listing in town, you know you're gonna get 3 more listings, you make them a deal, they sign an NDA type situation, then maybe it makes sense in that case, right? But I would say 0.5%, there's nothing, I'm not getting any money out of that, our staging costs are 0.5%, like easily, right? So like, I don't think I would ever take that, but then there's the scripting portion of it, and I think you have some great ideas there, I think that's really good, chopping it up. But like realistically speaking, if at the end of the day and you use all of the world's best scripts and they're only gonna pay you 0.5%, then you really just have to look inside and say, do you wanna do this? Like in this market right now, you're gonna take 0.5%? on $1 million, that's $5,000. What do you, so if it costs you $4,000 to run it,
Yeah. You know, that's a really good point, like just knowing what your numbers are in the moment, so you don't have to think while you're there, like, well, does it make sense to me? Knowing what the bottom line is, but if it's a $20 million listing, maybe that changes the equation.
yeah, and then the other thing is you could do like, we always do the referral one too, like, I'll do it.
I love that script,
That's
but
my
I've
favorite
stolen
script.
that script and I love it.
Yeah, it works really well, I've used it a bunch of times, and to be honest, they never end up referring anybody. They never end up referring anybody.
What's the success versus failure rate for that? You know?
This, what, the script?
Yeah,
I mean, I've probably used it 5 times and we were at the signing table, so we got it, but. I haven't used it 100 times, so I can't give you the failure success rate, but.
I know I'm not at the front, but like the fact that, like you're saying you're at the table, like doing it over the phone, like your chance of landing that, unless you say yes to whatever they want,
Yeah.
like you have such a low,
They wanna have that
a
conversation.
low chance. Yeah, they will have it on the phone for a reason. And sometimes when people ask about commission, yeah, what's your commission? Yeah, what's your commission? Like, I just keep deferring until I can see them in person and I can have the paper in front of them. I still do paper, okay? But, like,
Yeah.
it seems ridiculous that you keep deferring the question.
I mean, to be honest, the biggest change to our commission, getting more commission has been our 3 packages. It's
Yeah.
offering 3 packages and we have it written out, we have it right in front of them, we say. I don't let them talk to me about commission, I talk to them about commission. It's part of the program, we talk about this, we talk about this, then we talk about commission. Here are the 3 packages, which one do you want? I don't really care which one you take, because my profit margins are almost identical. Unless the property sits for 6 months, we're just talking about.
can I give you an objection on that one?
Sure.
I've just always been curious.
Yeah.
This isn't a trick question.
No, it's fine.
Okay, like those 3 packages look really neat, can I take them and think about it, because I need to compare?
Actually, I can't leave these with you, it's a competitive industry, so I don't actually leave my commission packages with anyone. Is there something that you were leaning towards, like which direction were you leaning to go? Do you want staging, are you like more of a virtual staging situation?
I'm not totally sure, like probably package B or package A, I just kind of need to compare them, and I'm like a high detail guy, so I'm gonna need to like.
Love
look at them,
that.
Make a spreadsheet and stuff like that.
Love that, already have some spreadsheets prepared, because I knew before we came in here that you're what we call an analytical personality, and I love that about it. So I have some data for you on that, and I can show you some of the ones we use. Also, let me ask you a question, like other than like specific numbers, is there a package you're leaning to? Like, have you seen some of our examples out there?
I mean, obviously, the most expensive one is the best, but I just kind of want to spend some time thinking about what I would find the most useful.
I find that there's a 0 chance that you take the most expensive one, because knowing that you're an analytical person, you probably don't want the moving truck. You're okay to do the analysis and find your own moving truck. Now, this isn't a tenanted property, right?
Yeah.
This is not a tenanted property.
No.
Yeah, so it's your family home. Well, typically in this market, like we can show you some statistics around how much faster properties sell and how much more they sell for if they are staged. It's a 0.5% difference. On top of that, we're throwing in a cleaning service with that and a handy person for a day. So wouldn't it make sense, because we know people are gonna come in here, we know we're gonna do an offer night, to have the better package so that we can get you that more money?
Totally, I'm talking to a couple other agents, and I
Okay.
just wanna really make sure that I have on my sheets, like what you're offering versus what they're offering and stuff like that.
Okay, so and then which specific agents are you working, or are you meeting with this week?
Feel maybe nicer, not,
I don't, you be whatever you want.
I'm not really comfortable disclosing that.
Okay, and is there something about my package, my presentation, that maybe you're not comfortable, that you're looking to find through one of these other agents?
You know what, that's exactly why I wanna take these home and just make sure I do know the answer to that, cause I don't feel like I know what's in your package.
Okay, for sure, here's what I'm willing to do actually, because I know that I'm gonna be better than those other agents. I'm happy for you to meet with them on 2 conditions. One, I wanna make sure that we have a promise right now, because you're not gonna sign with me today. You don't sign with them when you meet with them this week. Okay, we make that one promise?
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay, amazing, and then the second promise is to show a little bit of my value, to show a little bit. Even if you choose the virtual staging package, it's often helpful for us to have our stager do a walkthrough. So I'm gonna provide that free of charge. Now you're meeting with the other people on Friday and Saturday, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Perfect. So I'll set a time for Sunday for my stager to come, do a walkthrough. We're gonna provide a list of things to prepare for your house. Regardless of whether you do a virtual staging, or if you do the actual physical stage package, or if you go for the luxury package, we're happy with whichever package you choose. But I just think it's gonna be a huge advantage to you, for you to see us in action. Okay, so we'll book it for Sunday at 3 p.m.
That sounds great.
Amazing, so we'll do Sunday at 3 p.m. If by then you still haven't made any, or if you have any questions before I come in, let me know what they are, so that when we sit down on Sunday at 3 p.m. After the staging walkthrough, I can answer any questions and make sure you're 100% comfortable with our team.
That sounds great, thank you.
Amazing.
Thanks, I've always wondered how people with those packages deal with that.
Yeah, I never leave the package there. So I have a story actually of a good friend of mine, who's actually on this call right now. Who I got an interview, I told him, I said, listen, you're gonna be interviewing for this property in Ottawa. They've asked me for 4 referrals, and I didn't feel comfortable, so I gave him 3. The package was left on the desk, and then another one of the referral people came in and saw that, made the connection that I had referred multiple people, even though I told them, and then was like losing their mind. So I just don't like leaving my marketing stuff around. I don't like leaving that type of information around.
Yeah,
Yeah, my listing package, whatever they can see. Not the commission stuff.
one thing I just wanted to say that I got from my coach, which I think is really good, is not talking about commission discount. We don't discount, we do a reduction because of certain things. So whatever the circumstance is, like it could be, if they actually, let's say the place is a tear down and they, they don't need to do staging. Yeah, absolutely, we can do a reduction because of this. And that way you're setting it up that they're not telling their friends, oh yeah, like they do discounts. There has to be a reason. I think that's pretty important.
Yeah. All right, let's go round 2. Let's do it.
Alright.
Okay,
What do you got?
well,
So wait, I'll go first this time?
sure.
All right, rock and roll.
So, Mike, we're gonna wait for the market to improve before we buy our new place and sell our current place. We're not sure with like the elections, the orange man,
Totally understand. So and just so I can clarify, I'll use some current, I need to know what you're selling and buying. You're buying and selling a home?
Yeah, sure, well, selling a condo, buying a home,
Selling a condo and buying a home.
yeah.
Okay, so the most challenging situation of all, amazing. So are you familiar with what's happening in the housing market right now, as far as like where the trends are going, and are you familiar with the same thing in the condo market?
I've heard the condo market isn't doing well,
Okay, yeah, fair enough. So like you're saying, you're talking about like days on market, that sort of thing.
yeah, I've heard they're sitting for a long time.
Right, and then are you familiar with what's happening with like houses, like nice houses right now?
Oh, I thought it was a bit of the same.
Well, actually not right now, the ones that have been blurred, I don't need to get into the technical details, I'm happy to show you if you're that kind of personality, but like realistically, like nice houses are selling well. Right?
Okay,
So my only concern is because there's instability for all buyers right now, and the housing market is still doing really well, that when the orange man gets off his crazy stool, which could happen, or doesn't, I don't know, but if he does, and then the market takes a sharp turn upward, which could happen, then getting you into that next property is gonna be very challenging. Now, why are you moving again?
we're having twins, so we
Whoa!
really need the
That's
space.
exciting, twins, you already have kids too?
No, but we have a dog and we live in a 1-bedroom.
I can't imagine what it's gonna be like to have kids, it's gonna be really super fun. What do you guys do?
In September.
September, okay. Well, as your friend, I would say maybe you're screwed now, but probably for a year, but let's just say it was in September.
Sure.
0 chance at this point. No problem, so you're doing November.
Yeah.
So you basically have 2 choices, and I'm happy to work with you either way. One, we put the property up on the market right now, it's gonna take some time to sell. So I'm here today, I'll give you the, everything that you need so that you can get your property ready, sell it on the market, we'll get it sold as soon as possible. And then we can go hunting for your house. The reality is that it's gonna take a long time to sell your condo. Buying the house could be challenging, but if we play our market right, we can get you into a house sooner rather than later. I wouldn't want to do it the other way. I wouldn't want you to buy first and then try and sell the condo, because if the condo doesn't sell, I'm assuming you need the money for the purchase.
Yeah, but we also don't want to be homeless, you know, if we can't find the right spot.
Right, yeah, I totally understand, like, the reality is you have to make a decision one way or another, right? You either gotta buy it first or sell it.
Right,
Right? So if, I assume that you wouldn't be homeless, like you could if you, God forbid, had to afford some sort of short-term rental.
yeah, we could,
Okay, the other side of the coin is if you purchase a property and then you try to sell your condo, you can't close on the purchase. We're talking now lawsuits, we're talking now like major cash involved, and that's a situation that I want you to avoid. So you wanna be in the situation that's less risky, right?
yeah, for sure.
Okay, great. And how important is it for you to be in a property with these two brand new babies that's a little bit more comfortable?
Oh, it's being in a one bedroom with two kids and a
You didn't even
dog.
tell me it was one bedroom we're in. Wow, that's crazy. That sounds horrible. So yeah, obviously that's probably the most important thing, right?
Yeah,
Okay, great. So why won't we do this? Why don't we get your property for ready? We'll put it on the market right now. Meanwhile, we'll also go out and start showing properties to make sure that you're gonna get, you know exactly what you're getting on the other side. That way I can sort of quarterback the situation for you. If there's not enough showing, we're gonna have to reduce, and then we can show you properties that maybe aren't selling for as high. But at least this way you're gonna get your feet wet, okay?
right,
Right, so sign here.
okay. Got it,
Nicely done.
alright,
So when I respond to this, do you want me to go from scratch or know all the things you said?
no,
Yeah,
no, all the
no.
things, yeah, no, all the things, so yeah, we're just not sure. Based on the current market of situation, if it's the right time. even though
Absolutely.
We need to move.
So Casper, at the end of the day, what's it gonna look like if we're getting close to November and you guys haven't moved yet?
We'll be pretty cramped.
You're gonna be pretty cramped, right? I mean, is there somewhere that you could move in the interim that would help with that?
Like, we do have like a backup of like a parent's place, but I don't wanna live with my parents again.
No, that sounds more
And
stressful.
I don't wanna live with the in-laws for sure.
That sounds more stressful than the one, right?
Yeah,
So I want you to picture this, you and your partner and your two kids and your dog in a one-bedroom apartment that, sorry, how big did you say it was?
it's like 580 square feet.
580 square feet, so that's about 117 square feet per person.
Yeah,
Yeah. Plus the dog,
yeah,
and how big's your dog?
just like 90 pounds.
So would you say without the kids right now, you guys are already a little bit tight?
Yeah, for sure.
And babies, they're small, they don't take up that much space, but in terms of volume, they take up a lot of space, right?
Right,
So what's your life gonna look like if you guys are trying to live there at 5 of them?
yeah, we might not have that much fridge space.
That's true. And then what's it gonna look like on the other hand, if you're in your new space and everybody has enough room to breathe? There's a larger fridge, or you can at least add another fridge. What's your life gonna look like then?
Look, well, pretty good, we'd have the, yeah, space to grow into.
Absolutely. And so it sounds like to me that you need to move.
Yeah, it's just a bit scary to take that risk with the current situation.
I completely understand. And is the risk that you're talking about more not being able to sell your condo, or is it more you're committing to a larger mortgage and then cost of living because of the Orange Man rises?
It's more of not being able to sell.
Well, I'll tell you, you can sell anytime if the price is right. Right?
Right,
Because I would buy your condo right now for 50 grand on the spot. So
right.
do you feel confident after what we talked about that you have a good idea of what the condo is actually worth?
I don't, well, I guess, I don't know the step, I guess, of how much it would be worth in this market.
Okay,
Yeah,
so looking at what we're looking at, we're, according to the comps I've shown you that you agreed to.
okay.
Remember?
Now I,
Relax.
now I remember.
So we're looking at probably right around 600,000.
Mhm.
So have you spoken to a mortgage broker yet and looked at how the numbers actually go? And what you could buy if you sold for 600 versus if you sold for 580, that sort of thing?
No, I haven't yet.
That's perfect. I'm gonna introduce you to my mortgage broker, Jeff, and he's gonna send you a spreadsheet. It's gonna break down every possibility for you. You can also play with it. So you can see, okay, well, if we need to sell a little faster, and need to drop the price, what does that look like in terms of our future projections? Would that be helpful?
Yeah, I would.
Perfect. So last question for you, in terms of buying first versus selling first. Which one do you think you would actually find less stressful?
Well, if we bought first, then I don't know if we'd be able to sell this place, but I also don't wanna be like homeless, you know?
100%. And on the other
And I don't wanna go to my parents.
side. Okay, so it sounds like you want to sell first then, right?
Do you think that's the right step?
I do. I think it's a more challenging seller's market for condos right now than it is to buy. And so if it were me, that's probably what I would do. And at the same time, everybody's different and we all have different risk tolerances. Usually, I think that whatever is gonna cause you to get better sleep is the way to go. So with that in mind, I think, let me introduce you to my mortgage broker, Jeff. We'll sign here today. We'll get the condo going, put it on the market. And that way, we're gonna get you the best chance of making sure that you sell and you get the home that you want. Okay.
Okay.
Love it.
Mhm.
Nice. I love the pain to pleasure there, that was really good, actually, really good, and then the breaking it down to per square foot for. I'm 1000% taking that.
That was an on the spot one, actually.
Oh, you guys have 4 kids in here, what, that's like 200 square foot per person. Oh, like you need to, move. I love how you said you need to move, that's great. I think that's-
Stole that from a John Mulaney joke.
Okay,
Yeah. He's talking about going to a fake doctor and getting, what's the drug? I can't remember what it is. And as the doctor's writing him the script for it, fake doctor, right? Just will give you whatever you want. He's like, by the way, what's this for? Oh, I have anxiety. Oh, so you need these. Yeah.
that's great, good, love it, alright, I'm voting for you on that one, I think that's a clear winner there.
Can I just ask a question?
Yeah, let's do
So similar to this whole objection, when somebody gives you like a specific month, like, we're gonna wait until September. Cause my cousin Vinny says that's the best time to sell.
Sure, I mean, like, well, first of all, if they're wrong, that's an easy one, cause like, you don't wanna make them feel wrong, of course. Be like, I would ask them, personally, I would go like, okay, great, so your cousin, I'm just curious, is like your cousin Vinny's, they sold a lot of home this close.
Yeah, it's one around the corner that they sold very similar to mine.
Okay.
They sold in September and there's a lot of activity. Now everything sucks, like nothing's moving.
Right,
Somebody else is for sale.
yeah, there's a lot of factors that go into like when is the best time to sell, and I can tell you that there's some really, really bad times to sell. Like Christmas time, like not everyone's Christian, of course, but for some reason, not a good time to sell. August, it seems that home buyers are certainly away and different products sell in different ways. Have you ever seen the specific statistics on when the best prices are to sell though?
No, I haven't seen, but they've seen on the news, it's usually April.
So April has been in a certain years has been the highest one, but it changes every year. There's actually a specific spring market and a specific fall market. And timing that is essential. So assuming that it's today that we're talking, you're right now at the beginning of the spring market, where typically speaking, historically speaking at least, the best prices have been, right? And not knowing the future. Now, why are you moving? Right. But I would also show the actual data, because you can show the data. The data for the last, by the way, for the last like 4 years has been April, then March, then February, not what everyone thinks, because everybody comes on the market in June, July and shit.
At that point, I think your frothiest buyers have already bought.
Yeah, exactly. But that's what I would do, I would use, I mean, depends on who you're talking to, right? If you're talking to a super data oriented person, I would literally pull up Fed Market Watch, which is super easy, you can just Google Fed Market Watch. And they have like all the archive months and shit, it's right there, it's like indisputable information, right, so.
It's also, so it's like September's 5 months away. And one thing I always think is, well, what actually has to happen with this place? Like, because sometimes, I mean, 5 months is a long time, but sometimes you look at it and you're like, oh, actually, no, that does make sense. Yeah. And the other one is like, do you want to sell in September or do you want to list in September? Or sometimes they don't know what they're talking about at all, right? And then they want to close in September. So verifying that, I think is important.
Yeah, that's actually a great point. We actually changed the wording on our buyer consultation to when do you want the keys to your next home? Like when it's like, with a perfect timing, because people get confused a lot.
Math advantage too, like that, because often, I think this is right from Sean Braunchi, but often people have no idea how long it actually takes. And they want the keys in a certain month, well, then you should be on the market next week.
Yeah, we work back to, yeah, and especially we just signed a tenanted condo, which is gonna be great. Super awesome to sell right now, 500 square feet, no parking.
500 whole
Perfect for.
Just super rush into the stage, by the way, I would not in a million years pay for any sort of staging on that one. Anyways, and they're like, well, I wanna get my money in September, cause I have to close on a pre-construction unit in the fall, and I'm like, well, fuck me. Excuse my language, but like, we're late, like, how is that even gonna work? Like, we got a month to sell that property to give remainder of the month and then 2 months notice, but working our way back. I was like, September 1st.
You know, I waited till now because somebody told them that now is the best time to
Yeah,
start.
wait.
I wish we were on the market in honestly February, because we would be at
Yeah.
60 days right now, right from negotiating an offer, right? Like, it's crazy, we're short with a month and a half to sell it. It's gonna get-
But even if they want to move to September, like, if they're adamant with that, I'd still sign it. I would sign an exclusive today. Let me start to agree today, and we can keep an eye on the market, and if they want September, I may even sign another first sheet that says September. And that we'll revisit, and I'll just be in contact with you every week and see how.
We have a 2-bed condo that's been coming up in Swansea for the last
year
That's not with the signed contract?
It's a signed contract.
But I'd say that's less common. What happens usually is people sign, and then they make their peace with selling, and then it's like 2 weeks later.
Well, there's actual reasons why they keep pushing some maintenance issues, but you're right, that is actually it. It's the same thing with the bright shining lights, and we do market experience tours for a reason. People are like, oh, I'm not ready to buy, no problem, we'll do a market experience tour just to show you some stuff. If you're ready in 6 months, that's fine. But when you go out and see this shit, and they're like, wow, this is really pretty, I could have this, you're like, you could have this, but you're not ready. You know, take it away from them a little bit. You know, in 6 months, they're like, no. Thanks.
This particular one that is your dream home won't be here in 6 months.
No, love
'cause-
Love it.
Okay.
Alright.
Anyone else have any, or do I keep on rolling?
This is it, yeah, so we're gonna do, this is the final breakdown, we're 1-1, and then I'm just gonna put him on the spot with some of our objections that I want to learn from him.
Sure, so. Who wants to go first?
He goes first.
Alright, so David, you've given me a lot of info, a friend of mine is actually a realtor. And we might use them.
I totally understand, Casper, and honestly, in Toronto, if you didn't have a friend who was a realtor, I'd assume you have no friends. So.
Is there that many? Is there that many?
There are a lot for sure, and you know, so let me ask you a question. Are you looking to sell your home for the highest amount, or are you looking to do your friend a favor?
Both, like I wanna sell for the highest amount, but I also don't wanna, sour that relationship.
Oh, I totally understand, and you know what, it sounds like the relationship's pretty important to you, right?
Yeah.
Totally, and that's the exact reason why I don't like mixing my friend and family life with my business life, because I'm not sure, can I share a stat with you?
Sure.
So did you know that right now, every 3 out of 4 transactions are not getting to the closing table with the original terms as originally negotiated?
No, I didn't.
So what that means is that you have a 75% chance of having to have a really difficult conversation, or even worse, having to fire your friend. So how's it gonna go when you guys are hanging out with all your friends and you guys have gone through that awkward experience?
Yeah, wouldn't be great, but also not choosing him probably wouldn't go well either,
Absolutely, and that's a really tough choice. Would you say that you're pretty close with your friend?
We're in the same friend group, it's not like we're besties, but we're in the same friend group.
You're in the same friend group, okay, that's great, and are you guys, are they a pretty open person? Like you'd be able to, if something went really wrong in the transaction, you'd be able to talk to them and you guys would be able to work things out?
I'd hope so.
Absolutely. So if they're pretty open like that, then I'd say they're probably gonna really understand the fact that you wanna preserve the friendship. Would you agree with that?
Right,
Yeah, so I think you could probably have that conversation with them and smooth it over. And, what we like to do in this situation to just make sure everything is good, is what we'll do is we'll sign today, and then we'll give your friend a call. And we'll say to them, listen, we want you to get paid too, so we're gonna give you the first opportunity to bring any buyers through that they know. And that way, you preserve your friendship with them, they still get paid, and everything's great. How's that sound?
not bad.
All right,
Not bad,
sign here.
What's this 75% thing you're talking about? What are you talking about?
Things just not actually making it to the closing table without things going on, like an inspection, or there's something that needs to switch. Like adding a buyer or something like that, dates closing, yeah. That's-
Oh, things getting amended during the closing period.
Yeah.
The way you worded it, I'm like, man, what's he talking about?
The deals are not closing.
I think
Yeah.
in the US it's way more prevalent for deals to fall through, so people will be here.
Fall through, yeah, but having to change. Different thing, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, sure, I mean, I guess I would say, yeah, 3 of our 4 deals would also change.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, they're pretty irrelevant changes most of the time, but yeah, I like how you framed it, something like that. Because I was definitely like, wow, that's a big stat. Shit.
That's from, what's his name, Jeff?
Well,
Well,
Okay, so that's American stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I use a lot of
but
American
it's gonna
stuff.
be signed before.
Mr. Mike,
Okay, wait, and sorry, quick question, I was curious, with this scenario. Are you in your house, or where are we right now?
whichever you prefer.
Well, it's easiest to phone in your house.
Okay, fine, on the phone, trying to book a meeting.
Well, yeah, okay, great, and then how do we connect, Catherine?
Open house?
Open house, okay, amazing. And so your friend is you're gonna hire your friend as your buyer.
Yeah,
Can I ask you a question, Catherine? Where did we meet again?
at your open house,
Oh, okay, so you were going into an open house.
that's right.
Okay, well, I'm just curious, why weren't you with your friend at that
Just didn't wanna bother him or early days,
point? Okay, so it sounds like you weren't serious enough to bring your friend into the open house to see a property that you're potentially interested in?
Like it's early stage, so didn't wanna inconvenience him,
Okay, would you say that you have a strong relationship with your friend? Like, are you guys really close friends?
Not close, like we're in the same friend group, but not like,
How often do you see this friend? Curious.
whenever there's like a gathering of friends.
Okay, and then you guys would obviously converse and have a conversation, that's what.
Yeah,
What I'm concerned about, and my concern would be, is that if, for example, the real estate deal goes through. What's that gonna do to those social interactions, like if it doesn't go well?
wouldn't be great, but also he probably wouldn't be too thrilled that I, went with someone else.
Fair enough, and your friend sells a ton in the neighborhood, or
Sells in the GTA.
sells in the GTA? Okay, so they don't work specifically in Roncesvalles.
Not that I know of, like he's sold in a bunch of places like Burlington and.
Oh, so he's sold in Burlington.
Yeah, he's
Okay.
sold around and
Okay.
Toronto as well, so he knows the different areas.
Do you mind if I use an analogy with you?
Sure,
Have you ever got your hair cut by a doctor?
no,
Would it make sense, right? Although they're probably more qualified than a barber, it's not somebody you would go to for a haircut,
right,
right? Well, similarly with real estate, we have specialties. Like, for example, if you were to ask me to go sell a house in Burlington, I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. I don't even know any streets in Burlington. I'm assuming that there's a front street in Burlington or a home street. I don't even know. But I don't know anything about Burlington, so I wouldn't risk anyone's business in Burlington. Does that make sense?
right,
My concern is that your friend, who you say is a really good friend, and I believe that, he might be maybe risking a friendship by working in a neighborhood that he's not really familiar with. Wouldn't it make sense to work with a team that sells in a neighborhood, has off-market properties in a neighborhood, knows all the agents in a neighborhood, and knows all the intricacies of a neighborhood?
it does, it's just, can't really. I just don't wanna have that awkward interaction of like. Us and a friend group like, hey, I bought with someone else.
Fair enough. Let me ask you a question. If you move into your property, you're sitting in your house, you're having a housewarming party, you invite your friend, of course, because he's your friend and your real estate agent. And then just that day, because there's a closing period, just that day, you find out that the next door neighbor's property that's basically identical sold for like 50, 80, 100 grand less. How's that gonna be as far as like an awkward interaction?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
So in reality, the truth is you don't owe your friend anything but friendship, right? You don't owe me anything, we just met in an open house, but you obviously owe yourself the best. Now, you do wanna get a great deal on a property in Roncesvalles, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Great, so wouldn't it make sense then to work with a team that services Roncesvalles exclusively?
Yes.
Simon?
Nicely done. I was waiting for that, you don't owe your friend anything.
I was trying not to go there. My brain is just like super routed down those pathways.
It's true though.
Yeah. I know we always offer, like, we do have a commission referral agreement that we've utilized in the past. So if they keep objecting, of course, you know, we can offer your friend a referral discount, of course, and everyone gets the best of, you know.
Are you doing 25%?
Yeah, we'd offer them 25%. That thing, that's a lot, we call that a Hail Mary, like, if you can't get it,
Yeah,
I don't really
break in
want.
case of emergency.
Yeah.
But you know what, just, one thing that I've gotten to before that is exact same script you would do, but
Roll it, let's do it.
just the end.
Yeah.
Just the end?
Sure. You know what, Casper, I totally understand that, and we wanna make sure that your relationship is preserved. Now, I know that you're selling, sorry, remind me, what's the?
We're
contract?
buying.
You're buying,
Yeah.
and how much are you buying?
1.2.
1.2, absolutely. So what we usually do in that case is we make sure to include your friend a little bit. So we're gonna end up giving them something like $3,000 to just make sure that they feel like everything's okay.
Right, they could be making more, you know? Yeah, I think it's,
$3,000 and they're not gonna have to do anything. If you keep arguing with me, it's gonna be 2,500. Whatever amount, but 25% is a lot.
Yeah, 25% for, especially if they didn't refer you, that's a good point. I like that, and then doing quick math on it, like a $25,000 purchase price, or $1 million purchase price, $25,000. I still think $3,000 and the person doesn't even have to show up. Yeah, no, I agree with you on that.
Yeah, I was not as quick on the math, so I threw that out, because I was like, well, 5 seems similar, less than that. I sent him a Starbucks gift card.
Fair enough, well, that was great, thank you so much, I got some specific ones that I wanna roll with you guys. If anybody online has any that they wanna throw out there, let us know. Anybody here wants to throw out any, I've got some myself. Okay.
Are they all tariffs? Like, because that's entirely what I'm hearing, like tariffs and commission.
Yeah, that's been a big objection, what's like the most common objection you guys have been getting on the calls lately, last month?
And so just waiting to see, waiting to see what happens, waiting to see what happens.
One thing I like to break down with that is, are you waiting for tariffs in American, or are you waiting to see what happens in the Canadian election? Because that's sort of an interesting thing too, right? Like if you'll see my video tomorrow. A little breakdown of like when you look at real estate in terms of the liberal versus conservative party, like what is that actually gonna do? I mean, you might have some different opinions, but in my opinion, the liberals have shown that the way that they're gonna deal with rising costs is lowering interest rates, which is going to probably spike the market a little bit or keep it rolling. Conservatives are probably gonna take a more conservative approach, and they're going to fast track more building, stuff like that. So take out red tape with that, but economy probably won't flow as much as it would. So you take that into real estate and you're just thinking, okay, well, it's probably gonna be busier if the liberals win. Just my opinion, but finding out what specifically they're waiting for. So what are they waiting for?
Just to see what happens with the market in general, it's not good now, and it's gonna get worse, it's gonna get better. Yeah,
So we'll pretend it's you.
Yeah.
So, I hear that a lot, and it's totally fair. You're kind of looking at it as a holistic perspective. So how long are you planning on waiting?
Well, I'm not in a big rush, like ideally I'd like to move at the end of this year, early next year, but so it gives me some time to see what happens.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then if you're looking, so you're thinking by end of this year, early next year, you're thinking like November to February, kind of.
Sure,
kind of
yeah, or
goes.
spring next year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so if you were to wait and see that the market actually ended up rising, would that be a big regret, or would you be okay with that?
I'd be a bit of a regret, more.
And what would stress you out more, finding out a year from now that you should have bought now, or buying now and the market goes down and you realize that, could have waited?
Yeah, no, I don't want the market to go. Right, the first one.
Yeah, you got
What you said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, does it make sense? I mean, we know what you're looking for. We know the budget that you have. And we know that we can find what you're looking for at this budget. So does it make sense to start looking now and see if we can find the right place?
Yeah.
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 My whole approach just comes down to motivation and stress.
Yeah. Yeah, I think when I'm on the phone, people are saying waiting, well, like, what's your reason for moving in the first place? Yeah, what are you waiting for?
And sometimes it's, I mean, if they really aren't in a rush,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying don't work with them, but you have to prioritize your clients in some way,
Yeah.
right? So, yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, so scenario here, I got one for you.
Sure.
Alright, so in that same vein of waiting, since we're on a theme today, everybody seems to be waiting, and it seems like the sales have gone, down from last year, which is even a slow year for Trev.
Yeah.
We're still 15 points off last year. Yeah, I mean, like, I'm renting right now, I have good rent. And prices seem to go down. You can buy a condo, like, I've seen, I don't know what, 1,800 condos available for sale in CL1 right now. My buddy told me. So just like waiting till we hit the bottom.
How will you know when we've hit the bottom?
Well, I guess, I mean, when I see things stop going down.
Can I tell you something a little bit more historically based than that?
Sure.
So the only way that we know we're at the bottom, or that we were at the bottom, is because we've hit a sharp rebound.
Okay.
So do you want to be one of those people? Think back to 2022, February.
Okay.
Do you want to be one of those people who sold end of January? Or do you want to be one of those people who said, you know what, I'm just gonna give it a couple more months and wait and, get more money because the real estate market keeps moving?
Right.
How are those people feeling now?
Right, but how do you know when that place is gonna be? That's my issue.
100%. And that's why when you're looking at like the Fortune 50 companies, they never try and sell at the very top or buy at the very bottom. They buy a little bit above that and they sell a little bit below that, and they call it the safe zone. And that's how they make sure that they don't make a huge mistake. So
I'm just so cautious because I had a lot of friends and family that were American, and like a lot of them bought at certain times and then they saw the property continue down. Like even some people bought after 2008 and the property stuff value still dropped.
absolutely.
Right.
So I think what it comes down to is what's going to be better for your life. Is it getting in when you know you can get great property at a great deal, or trying to save a few more dollars with the risk that we actually rebound, which it has happened historically, and then the condo that you can afford right now suddenly is out of your price range.
Yeah, I guess I never really thought of it like that, but like, I guess the challenge is I just have this nerve-wracking itch that it's gonna continue more, like forget elections, forget this, like, it's just that I'm watching these trends, I do the Bitcoin thing, I've been right a few times on that. And I just feel like it's gonna go down another 5-10%. You don't think that sharp spike is gonna be 5-10%?
You know what? I think that's a really great point, and you said that you've been right a few times, right?
I have been right a few times.
Absolutely. And do you ever hear about this coin flip experiment?
I sure that I've done maybe, I don't know.
So basically, you have 100 people
Yeah,
and you divide them in half and you do a coin flip. And somebody calls heads, somebody calls tails.
right,
And so you go from 100 down to 50, down to 25, you just keep going.
right.
And eventually you get to the point where you need to flip the coin correctly, call it correctly, 8 times in a row to win this. And they always ask, whenever this happens, they always ask people, so did you think you were gonna win? And every single one of those people who won says, I just had this feeling that I was right. But what they don't think about is that every other person who won a couple also felt like they were gonna win that. And so we prioritize those wins, but I think if you were to look back and just look at facts, the times that you were right and the times that you were wrong, probably about 50-50. So I think what it comes down to is risk versus reward. Is it worth the risk of something actually bouncing back 5%, which can happen?
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at December 2021 to February 2022, some places went up as much as 25% over that. So what is going to end up having a better chance of making sure that you get the property you want at a price you can afford?
Buying right now.
Yes, yes.
Today, whatever it is we see.
I know this guy named Casper has a great property. Those are the hardest people, right? They have a real belief that the market will fall forever and they're gonna buy a condo for $100.
I remember when I started, there was I called cold calling and there was a landline and the mother and the son picked up. And they were like ripped into me because the market was just a big, huge bubble and it's about to collapse. And then, I started in 2015 and that was probably 2015. And then we saw like consecutive 10% years and I'm like, God, I wish I remember that number. Like, even though the market did drop at one point, it's been, like 50% up since 2015.
There's that graph. I don't know if I'm allowed to use the word Keller Williams in here, but
You can definitely, we're not,
no, I know.
we're open book here.
In Shift Book, he has that graph.
Yeah.
That, the experiment, he's like, okay, tell me when the market's at its peak and now, and you've completely missed it. And it does go fast, but generally it still goes like this, right?
All right, we're running out of time, so I want to get some openers. So do you door knock or how are you getting your new leads these days?
I honestly mostly hang out online and eat sandwiches.
Okay.
I do a mix. I do some online. I don't do door knocking or cold calling.
Okay.
It is a ton of networking, open houses, spirit.
Okay, great. Give us a good one-liner opener for those types of situations with a new person, not somebody you already. Like, how would you open a conversation in a networking event? Cause like I have for sure, I hate networking events. Freaking hate them. I go to networking events and I just like kind of cower. My girlfriend's amazing. She'll introduce me to people and then I can get the conversation going, but I'm not great at it.
I'll comment on that first and say, I'm not great at that. I'm really good at like one-on-one kind of thing. So I'll usually not, and I'm just being honest and vulnerable here. I don't think my openers are that good.
Okay.
I think that I will just I'll talk to a person until it gets awkward and I'm like, there's not a good connection here, move on to the next. But basically every time I'll find one person who I really connect with. Okay. Now, I would like to improve that, of course.
Okay.
10 would be so much better. But it really depends. I mean, it depends on the context. My brain works pretty creatively. So sometimes it'll be something like commenting nicely on something they're wearing or something like that. Like a guy has, does anybody here? No guys here are wearing anything.
Nice.
At all.
No, Casper actually was really good today.
Yeah,
But the stripes going on.
but nothing like no
Sure.
to comment on. But like, just
That's so good.
terribly.
You guys are the worst looking group.
No, but like for instance, it's like, let's say it's winter and Casper is wearing like a bright blue shirt.
Okay.
I might just say something like, oh man, I love that you're wearing such a bright color on such a dreary day. I think like I might have been a bumblebee in the last life because I love seeing bright colors and everybody wears gray in winter. And like there, we're just instantly, Liz is weirded out by that. But he's also wearing it, so like he probably likes it.
Yeah.
It's probably gonna resonate. Something like that can be anything. If it's a party,
So, okay, you gotta do it, so you're breaking the conversation, you're breaking the ice, and then, let's say, okay, there's 3 or 4 of us talking. I'm not talking to Casper, you're listening, you're a listener in the conversation, you're like, yeah, I don't know, like, me and Jeannie are thinking about making a move. Like, what, how do you get into that
I
conversation?
take my sleeve, I wipe the drool.
Cha-ching. Shut up.
It depends on the vibe. If they seem funny, I might be like, oh, careful, there might be some realtors around. And get them to, yeah. And they'll be like, they'll laugh and they'll be like, yeah, and they'll be like, yeah, well, hopefully not. I'll be like, well, I got a confession to make.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, cause similar to like, if you get to the objection before they do, like you call it out, if you call out the awkwardness of like, I heard you say that and I'm a realtor and they're laughing, you're kind of beyond it.
Yeah.
So I like that.
Self-deprecating.
Yeah, totally.
Self-deprecating, okay, alright, I like that,
Yeah.
I like that, okay. Any other points, we got master of script here in our presence. No.
I'll give one?
Yeah.
I think like in the networking thing, the hardest thing, like I actually never hear anybody talking about real estate in that regard.
Yeah.
I feel like it's more that I have to start from scratch and steer it towards real estate. And that I think is the harder one for me. So we're just having a conversation about how amazing these chicken wings are. And I will try and be creative with that and bounce it off. And just, let's say Casper doesn't know I'm a real estate agent. Be like, yeah, I'm actually doing this workshop this week at this brokerage. And it just reminded me because I should go to Duff's afterwards because they have the best wings, even better than this. And like bringing it in that way,
Yeah,
just really.
the location-based things, like if we're talking about chicken wings, be like, yeah, I would go to location.
Or like, yeah, no, it's so funny. That reminds me of this time I was doing this tour of a property and.
Yeah. I was on my way to my listing for my brand new listing. And I tripped over a dog, similar to your story.
Yeah, similar to your story about owning a dog. Yeah, so I think just being able to do that smoothly and not have people go like that felt weird. Like if I'm gonna be kind of mean here, I think car salespeople are the worst salespeople I've ever met. Whenever I've been buying a car, I'm like floored at the opportunities they pass up and like there's no follow-up. And it usually feels like when they're going into sales mode, I can like hear, no pun intended, but like I can hear them shifting gears. It's not smooth at all. It's like, oh, now you're talking to me about this. So just making sure that you're doing things naturally. For networking, I think that's the most important thing because you don't want that sales thing coming off you.
You know, it's so funny you say that. I went into my car, the place I got my car. Okay, and I have 4-year lease every time. I go in at 3 years. I'm like, I just want to know my options. The guy says, looks at options. Our rates weren't great. He's like, it doesn't make sense for you to get a car today. I'm like, oh, that's really nice of you. Okay, like I would love to use it in the future. My lease is up in 1 year, so I guess we'll be in touch in 6 months. We never fucking followed up. And he was there when I was just like, no one followed up with me. I didn't remember the guy's name. He has me on file. If I had remembered his name, I would have just done him a courtesy, but I didn't remember his name. There's no follow-up email, nothing. And so I went in for my tire change. I'm like, I need to talk to a salesperson, and I walked out with a new lease, or like a 3-month waiting.
It's like crazy. And to be honest with you, like I've had occasional thoughts because I find that when I'm just meeting people, or my favorite thing is open houses. I don't think I've ever walked away from an open house without like at least one really great lead. We did a couple together that was really fun. And I always think like if open houses worked every day of the week, that's all I would do. Because it's people who want to buy houses come to you. And I was kind of thinking like, man, maybe I should be in auto sales, like you just stand there and people wanna buy stuff come to you. Like, as opposed to lead gen, but I'm good with it.
Yeah. Well, we do weekday openings, doing weekday openings this week, they do work.
Really?
Yeah, they work, depending on the neighborhood, if you're in the middle of like Timbuktu, no, that's not gonna work.
Like, what time?
So what do you,
5 to 7.
5 to 7, sometimes we do them 4 to 7, 5 to 8, kind of depending on the neighborhood, if you're in King West. The 5 to 8's great, people are coming home from work, they're popping in.
That's really cool, and I mean, I stole this from you, but like I do usually 5-hour open houses.
Yeah.
And like, man, if I could do that, like if they worked, if I could work like 11 to 4 every day, like 5 days a week in an open house.
I would set up my office as the open house, and then there were certain listings in like downtown, we had one on Wellington. I would set up my office there, I was literally there every day of the week. I have the signs right up front, people will come in 1 hour, like not much, the other 45 minutes, I'm making phone calls, writing emails, whatever. I know.
So do you have an opener for open houses? Like, how do you do it? Like, let's say I'm walking in, right? What would you say?
I would probably say, hey, I'm David, I'm the listing agent. Really nice to meet you, sorry, what's your name?
My name's Davide, nice to meet
Nice to meet you, Davide. I can relate to that name a lot.
you.
So are you shopping for yourself today or someone else?
With myself and a partner, yeah.
Oh, perfect, and is your partner coming in today?
No, not today.
Oh, I see, okay. So is this your first open house of the day, or are you doing the tour?
Of the day, yeah, my first, yeah.
Perfect, how many are you gonna go to after?
I don't know, a couple, I think, yeah.
That's really nice, I
Yeah.
love that. And you know what I do for a living, what do you do?
Yeah, I mean, I'm in sales,
You're in sales?
yeah.
Oh, I better step up my game for this. Amazing, so is this like a first home for you, or second, or investment?
So we own already,
You own already?
yeah, so we will be buying up.
Absolutely. And so when you're looking at this place, I assume you're here because it has the most amazing backyard. And that's why most people are coming and seeing it. You know, you have the deck, you have the small pool, but you have enough space to run around and the back's quiet. So am I right about that? Is that kind of what brought you in today?
Yeah, I mean, we look great in beaches, so that's why I came to have a look at it.
Absolutely. So is outdoor space pretty important to you? You guys like to entertain back there?
Yeah, we're very social, we have lots of parties, so yeah, for sure.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm not one of those realtors who's gonna follow you around. So why don't you go take a look and go upstairs, come on back down, and we'll chat about how you liked it.
Sounds good.
Alright.
So you don't make me sign right away.
I don't.
Okay.
Shoot, I actually don't know who I got this from. It's not mine.
Okay.
I get people to sign out rather than in.
So after you create a relationship, then you ask them to sign.
Yeah.
And what if if it's busy as an example, and there's lots of people coming in and you cannot talk to everyone?
Nah.
Like you'll be losing some of these people, you know what I mean?
So that's a question, I get that all the time when people ask me about open houses. And I have an answer for me, but not everybody agrees with this. For me, I'm just saying, find the person that I'm connecting to.
Hmm.
Because if I lose a couple, so what? Like, I'd rather get one client than 3 leads.
Fair enough. Also because I guess if you don't create a connection, then you have the contact information, you can keep calling them for a month, but never pick up.
So one thing I got from,
Yeah, I guess.
because
You call it once every 3 weeks.
do you guys, am I right that you guys coach with Marianne?
I coach with Marianne, yeah, and then we do some group coaching stuff with Marianne as well, yeah.
So one thing that she gave me, because I coached with her for a year, and I thought this was incredibly valuable, is calling them after the open house or the next day, like those are plan B and C. Plan A is book an appointment with them.
100%.
And that's been great for me. That might have been like the dollar for dollar, like best thing I got from Marianne. That's been amazing.
Okay, dude, book an appointment with him. He's toured the place.
Okay. So. I think this is nag too, but, so did you love it?
Yeah, that's nice.
Amazing. That doesn't sound as enthusiastic as a person who would wanna write an offer right now, huh?
Yeah, probably not.
Absolutely. So what is it about the place that you didn't love?
We need something more renovated.
Absolutely, and you don't wanna do a lot of renovations
Yeah.
now. You know, that's a really smart way to go. Can I tell you why? So a lot of people don't think about this because it's something that's changed a lot over the last couple of years. Before, buying something that needed a lot of renovations and renovating it was a great way to save money. And you would wind up with what you want for a lot less than if you just bought it. But since 2020, right now, you know, trades and materials have gone way up. And right now, real estate is actually underappreciated to where, compared to where it has been from. So if you look at all the numbers, you'll see that buying something that you have to completely redo, it ends up being more expensive than something that's done right now. Yeah, is that something that is that kind of where you were thinking, or is it just more that you just don't wanna do the work?
I've done renovations in my previous place and as a nightmare, I almost divorced with my wife, so like, I'm not gonna do that again.
I completely understand that. So when you're saying that you're looking for something renovated, describe it.
Like, I'm not looking for something super modern, but like something that is more moving ready.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I completely understand that. And so is your place on the market now?
no,
Oh, okay. And so you're looking to maybe buy first?
yeah. I'm not sure if you're gonna sell, so
I totally understand. And so how many offers have you put in?
so far now.
9, okay. And has there been any places that your realtor thought you should probably offer on?
Yeah,
That's cute.
that's good, that's a good one,
I have a list of 5 to go down for that I can talk about after.
that's a good one. No, sorry, what was your question? Well,
Have there been any places that you've seen that your realtor said you should probably make an offer on?
I don't work with anybody.
You're not? Oh, I totally understand. Well, then, has anybody offered to sit down with you and show you what it's like to sell and buy at the same time in this new market?
Oh yeah, every agent that I go to open house.
Oh, really? And
What's it called?
And have you taken any of them up on it?
No, not yet, because I like to work with the listing agent,
Oh, you like to work with the listing agent, and what is it about that?
Well, sometimes I get the agent that gives me, buyer rebate, Cause, some of them do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what, that's a great opportunity to save like $5,000, right?
Depends.
Yeah. No, it can be pretty good, right?
Mhm.
I'm agreeing with you. And you know what, it's really interesting because when you look at the stats in terms of agents who double end like that versus a really great buyer's agent, has anybody ever sent you these stats?
No,
So when you're looking at a really great buyer's agent and how much they can actually save you, it's actually quite a lot better than $5,000. So, I'm sure agents tell you their stats all the time and maybe they can prove it, maybe they can't. Over the last 12 months, all of the stats that I've run for myself and that I get from my brokerage show that I save my buyers an average of 3% compared to the average agent. So on a house like this, that's a fair bit more than $5,000. And I'm just curious, do you want to have a conversation about $5,000 or do you want to have a conversation about 50 grand?
yeah, no, that's a good point.
Absolutely. So I actually have a little bit of time today after this open house. There's one home that I think you might like based on what you said. It has a great backyard. It also has, it's not super modern reno, but I think it might be what you're talking about, same stats. So why don't we go see it after this? I can meet you there at 4:30. And then from there, we can have a chat about how I can save you about 50 grand.
Love that.
Perfect.
That's a good point. Yeah.
We used to do that all the time, I don't know if you remember, I would always book, one listing similar to mine,
Yeah.
next to my own house. And then they're like, actually, why don't we go through, why don't we do that, and I have 30 more minutes, if I didn't book the meeting then, I'm booking it in that 30 minutes on.
100%.
Yeah, this is the Jim Rome stuff where it's like, the time, like quality time, I don't know what he calls it, Jim Rome, he's like, yeah, one of my favorites. He talks about like quality time, I don't know if he's called like value time, whatever, but it's like. On the phone, getting ready for a client, doing like writing notes is like not quality time, but being in the presence of your client, that's why like the events and stuff, like being in the same room is, that's like.
Yeah.
Massive, like times 1,000 of anything else you do, any email you write, anything.
I love that, and it just piggybacking off that a bit, do you, like, what CRM do you guys use?
We use that a lot.
So me too, and so you guys are doing the AI stuff on it?
We are doing that, this is our thing.
It is the most amazing thing, because I used to like, you know, I'd have a headset on, I'd be talking to them, but I'd be typing and trying to take notes. And now I just leave it to the AI to do, and I can actually just listen to them, like my conversations are so much better.
We have to talk about this, because we have to integrate, because our numbers aren't matching up and stuff like that, so I wanna talk to you about that, that's amazing. That's awesome, guys, thank you so much for coming in, really appreciate it. I'll give you the crown.
Sure.
So next month, we're only gonna do one in-house training, it's gonna be amazing if you guys are, looking to grow a team, it's a leadership training with Jamie Purvis. If you don't know who Jamie Purvis was, he was the team leader, he's a fucking amazing person, just like this gentleman here. He was the team leader for, Keller Williams Preferred Urban when I was there. Now he has his own coaching business, which he charges an exorbitant amount of money for.
Nice.
And I'm just joking, he charges money for it, and he's gonna be in here doing in-person trainings, if you guys wanna come to that too, we'll send you guys all an invite. Thank you so much, it's great, yeah,
This is super fun.
and you mopped the floor with me, so to speak, no, your Instagram was amazing, I love that thing.
I'll write back at you now.
Thank you guys, that's awesome.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for
Good job.
Thank you.
Is there a problem with realm? Does anybody know, like, it was dead yesterday, something?
Are you on Android?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's up? Yeah, something.
Is it
I
an
get
Android
an
problem?
iPhone.